That was fun.
Yes, it was.
It's a game of total mixed messages. Everyone's like Adam and Emily is like, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed, this whole thing, oh my god. And then it's like, that was fun.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be fun to be stressed.
It's very stressful for the GM too, having to kill everyone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's tough. Trying to the balance too is A, I'm not used to killing players. That's not my usual
And then you gotta kill them all at once.
Yeah, well, this one that was the sort of the point. But I mean, Chariots of the Gods, it's not the point to try to kill everyone. Although obviously situations are all the way through it that can be bad. Not all might be xenomorph stuff either. There can be mechanical issues, airlock issues, all sorts of things can happen. But I'm just not used to doing that. They can be, any fight in D&D or whatever can technically go bad and go wrong and kill people, but Alien has its... As soon as you meet the alien, you've got problems.
Yep.
And it's meant to be that way. And that's meant to be the saving grace for the GM. That it's like, you're not being a dick. The alien is strong. This is what it's here for. But balancing that with making sure you've had enough playtime, that you've had enough time with your character, that you've done enough of what you wanted to convey about your character.
The trick was I didn't. I was planning near the end. I was gonna bring up backstory stuff, but then we didn't because there were aliens running at us. So I wasn't about to scream it while running. So
right.
Yep.
I have a complicated past.
Yeah. So that is the hard part for the GM, I found.
For sure.
Trying to juggle that to be like, okay, the alien's here, someone's got to die. Like, it was sort of easy with Sig because he separated himself, and putting him that way I could actually drop it where I was going to anyway. But now everyone, there's that separation which worked all right.
Was I the one that was meant to die in that room, or was it just because I was separated?
The only one I was trying to keep alive till the end was Hannah, but I wouldn't have expressively done that. It just was a good bookend to have pulled that off.
Right.
So, I think it worked good to kill you there. You would have either been, ideally, I think, there or the water room. But with Jonas now being an NPC, it made sense to remove the NPC first. And I will always try to do that. Unless the reason to do so would be wrong. Because obviously if they're vital in a way that would ruin everything if they died at that point, then that's when I argue with people that go the rules, it's all about the rules. Because I'm like, but if the rules destroy the game, which is more important, your players or the rules? So I will watch that. But generally speaking, and I think for Cthulhu too, the same reason, right? It's good you can use NPCs to convey how dangerous something is by having them killed first.
Right.
But you shouldn't always do that. I'm just saying NPCs can be good for that sort of stuff. You can sort of go, oh yeah, look here. And I mean, a lot of horror films do that too. You always get that guy who's like, look, there's nothing out here. And it's like, what's his name? Do we even know who that is? And they're the first to die. But it tells you something usually. So it made sense to get rid of Jonas off my plate as well. So I didn't have to keep, Jonas is out of it. I don't have to worry about doing anything with him now.
Yeah.
He's still alive because the thing never killed him. Dragged him off.
Maybe.
One of the egg sacs.
He's not in a good place. Technically, neither's Hirsch. They're both actually being used to make the walls of the in the sub-supply room.
Excellent.
They're being used as material.
The rest of us are just dead.
The rest are just dead. I mean, Hannah
might also
be.
be.
Hannah's left, but I think, in all honesty, though, some of the best RP you have ever done, collectively, has been in this game.
Yeah?
Especially Emily, but I would say
this is... yay!
But I would say... I
was having fun, so I hope it was good.
I would say some of the best I've seen from Ken has been in this game.
I was only in this colony because of Ken's character.
Yeah, he killed you.
Yeah, it's all his fault I'm dead.
Yep.
What?
I was a secret spy.
Oh!
The company sent me because they thought that Holroyd was disobeying orders, and they blackmailed me to be here.
But that never came out through the playing, though.
Nope, I was going to after you died. If we'd had a moment to pause, I was gonna do this thing where I like really calmly just said, "I was only here because of Holroyd," but I didn't get the chance because we were attacked.
It was the roller coaster at that point.
Yep.
I know. Well, I played the rivalry thing with Sig way over like too much. He was just supposed to be a rival, but once we went with the
I figured he was your rival because you were.
Well,
like,
yeah,
exactly,
exactly, right?
Sig.
I was waiting for the chance to get to say that. I don't trust you, Sonny. It just sounds so southern to say it like that.
You did
I
at the
was
start,
blackmailed to be there.
but it was subtle, right? Like when you went, I'm going to check on the tractor. Both times when she said, "I'm coming with you," it's because she didn't trust you.
Yep, I stuck with Holroyd because I was supposed to be keeping an eye on him.
Okay.
But that is sometimes a tricky thing too. The agendas are really cool, but it's also...
The agendas are neat, but you go where it takes you, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's dependent on what happens, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, the rivals and the agendas and that didn't actually play in the same direction. So it was fine to not force it, because forcing it would have felt weird.
Exactly.
So,
and then it sounds contrived, and you don't want that, right?
Right. But your best thing that you were doing was you didn't really at any point do sort of what you do in Trek sometimes, which is, and I think you're worrying about the time, I think maybe, so you go, okay, I'll tell the captain what I've just spoken to Thingy about, or I'll tell Hannah, I'll tell I'll go see the medical officer, and I'll tell her what we discussed upstairs.
She is now Hannah. Yes.
You didn't do that this time. You didn't do that at all in Alien.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't in a leadership role. That's the big problem with Trek. I think is that it's that role for the character. That's what I.
But like even with the air processor, you didn't go, I'll tell Hannah how to change the filters. You said that, you stopped, and then told her how to do it, which became an RP thing, of which she started RPing back. So you've done that all the way through Alien, which is really good.
Yep.
But yeah, you did some really good stuff in this one.
How do you think we did overall, keeping the theme and all that?
I think it was good. I think there's some funny bits, but I think overall it was good. We didn't joke around too much once people got... I mean, there was opportunities to, but for the most part people refrained. When the scene was... someone was doing something that was particularly serious, people tended to not sort of jump into it if something, if someone said something. People didn't normally would sort of have a bit of a tease and a bit of a laugh. This time,
I think the only times we did were like, we need to break the tension for a second.
Right.
Holy Rod. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, right. But I mean, like, so for the most part, people stayed. Feeling what was meant to be going on, and by that going, okay, yeah, it's better if this scene is the way it's playing out is how it should play out and not get pulled off that. It's hard to use some of the aliens. The aliens don't... One thing I might do is stop using all their signature attacks.
Okay.
That's how they attack, but I'm finding that's a little... So the way each alien version has signature attacks. They're all six. They always have 6. And you roll a d6, and which one you get is what it does. And some are scary, like the rearing up like the funnel web and make the person do an instant panic roll. And if I roll a 6 for the face hugger, it has leapt on you, wrapped its tail around, and if you fail your close combat, you're face hugged. So the problem
unless you're an android.
Unless you're an android.
What you could do is, instead of rolling for it, just choose one.
I was going to start just choosing, and most of them say for the attacks of those, use its mobility, which is 10. So I could just roll 10 die and do it like a normal sort of thing for a lot. Well, not the face huggers don't have 10, but the scouts have 10. Because after a while, sometimes it would make sense, like you said. I think I actually rolled the one I wanted to do with Jonas, which was move the person. Which you got the same one out of one of them, which was to move you to the next available area.
Okay.
It made sense. There's actually one of those vents that you crawled through under the water, so it pulled him into that.
Oh.
So it actually made sense for that to be like an ambush attack, which is a thing for the aliens. They can do an ambush attack. It made it all its rolls, and I thought that one's the best, and I rolled that one anyway. So it went cool, and I rolled terrible for him. So it made perfect sense for it to grab him, drag him under the water, and then pull him into the vent, which is also why he disappeared. Which also worked good because it's like, this isn't that big. Is it still under here? Where is it? Like, so it worked good to be. But I'm just a little bit like a longer fight with. Well, I actually got 2 of the same attacks on Hirsch. I got 2 4s.
Yeah.
So I started going, you know what? Maybe they should just have some attacks where they just attack, and if they get, they do a base damage, and then if they get any successes, that just gets added to damage, and then they can do their signature attacks. But they're meant to do the signature attacks every time, and I'm like, that only gives me 6 different things to do. I mean, they don't do things like throw things. You've never seen them pick up something and throw it. They don't do those sort of attacks,
true.
They don't do those sort of... So I'm not going to create, like, weird new ones, but it's got its claws, it's got its teeth, it's got its bite. There's a lot of things it could sort of just do in general. I mean, overall, I really like the rules, I think, as a base.
Yeah.
Tails does things a little, obviously, less stressful, but the base mechanic is the same.
Probably, yes.
It's still successes on a 6. You still draw cards for initiative or action. It's not so much initiative. It's more action order in that game. Death isn't possible, so it's a much lighter game. But I didn't think at the start how
we're too young to die.
Yes, I wasn't sure about the 6s as a mechanic at the start, so I thought, man, that's
works.
But in the end, it seemed, I think, worked. You failed some completely, but others you did okay on.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you do different now that you've actually finished it?
Get backstory out sooner.
Yeah, I mean game-wise, GMing, playing the whole thing. Like, not so much what you do different. Like, I would have done this action instead because that went really bad for us. I mean, just game-wise, is the stuff you think you do differently now that you've played it that we should not do or we should do more of in
I would push harder to explore all the areas. Like the science lab. I think that could have added some pretty good RP.
That's the only area you didn't go to in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I hadn't pushed for people to go to the morgue, they wouldn't have.
Yes.
So I had to come up with a good reason why.
So, what was Sig's background?
I have no idea. Like his actual...
Yeah. You said you disobeyed an order in the past or something?
Yeah, my secret is... I've cut some corners and done a couple things that were not strictly company policy. I didn't care, but recently I started to think the company might be watching me more closely. My rival is McDonald. My friend is Hirsch.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't super come into play because we also didn't go to the science lab at all, which is fair. Like, we just heard gunshots. Wouldn't make sense to necessarily go to the science lab, but...
Because if you'd phrased it differently, I don't know, but what you said was, I want to check on my experiments. So what happened was we were kind of like, yeah, no, we don't care about your experiments. We heard shots and screaming.
Yeah, what I meant by that is I want to check and make sure none of my experiments got out.
So did you have those? Like, did you know about them?
No. I was just BSing.
Well, and that's why we were kind of like, I think Sig's involved in this because, this haven't been here.
You know how tempted I was before we got there, like, water. Did everyone bring their air canisters?
Oh no! Does everyone have their gas masks?
Yeah, I was going to say that would have helped in the water. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
there was two things I wanted to know, Aaron.
Yep.
What would I have found in the science lab, and who was the other person? You don't have to tell me
The
if you want to keep a secret,
the
but
other person?
Yeah. It
other
was
life sign.
Newt.
Oh, I thought it was Newt. Yeah, that was my
I
guess.
assumed it was Newt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Newt. She had to be there somewhere.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming we wouldn't have found her, or
probably not.
I was playing with the idea of if you saw this, of sort of like one player seeing this little girl.
And everyone else is just like, you're losing it.
Well, no, you could have gone like, you see a little girl at like, let's say long range, because I don't want it too
Okay.
close. But someone then might have said, hey, there's a little girl, that's the thing. And run off maybe, which would have been a good way to
And
separate.
died.
Yeah, that could have been, depending on how things, but as it started to play out, where you started to end up, I didn't need to separate. And I felt
That's
that
true.
maybe it got to the point where if I did that, it wouldn't feel organic. Oh, but to answer his other
science lab?
question, you would have found a face hugger on the table, dead and dissected. So it would have been the first, like, what the
Ah.
hell is this? But in the end, it was okay you didn't find that first,
Yeah.
We got attacked.
because the first thing you find
Right.
that things are really wrong is Miranda Reynolds. So that was probably
Yeah.
a better what? Rather than, but yeah, that would have been, you would have
Yeah,
found it dissected, that they've already started trying to work on it, that there would have been maybe some acid splash where they first went, cut it and went, oh fuck, sort of thing.
Yeah, that actually makes me feel a bit better that we didn't like miss
Something
some
major.
Yeah, it was a clue, but it wasn't.
I was in the military.
That was
And
your
I've been-
secret?
Yes, but my secret of that was that I went AWOL.
Uh-huh.
So
His other secrets were Android, disobeyed an order, spying on Holroyd because of blackmail.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought Emily did some really good acting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm very glad I wasn't sure.
I don't think I'd lock myself in with 2 aliens next time.
You did it
Yeah,
and you immediately
you
went,
totally-
why did I do that?
It was a good ending, though.
You totally could have gone with.
It was. It was a heroic ending.
Yeah, it was a heroic
right?
ending. It was a.
I think it was more of a, because of what happened with Holroyd. It was inevitable.
And you leading them away probably bought her enough time.
Yeah, I think that one was
So-
okay. That was more a decision in character, but I think that was fine.
Yeah.
But that was really hard as a player to just run
I know, you didn't want
away
to.
from Holroyd. Yeah.
If you hadn't...
As
If
Holroyd was
Holroyd-
turning to tell you to get away, he sees you're already leaving and just
Yep.
I was glad you did, though, because the way I was role-playing at that point, if you hadn't dragged me, I was just going to stand there in shock. So it was helpful for me, so thank you.
It was a hard call.
it's funny. My character card thing there says you're a Wayland Yutani android. You've been on LV-426 for 2 years, and you're a technician known for getting on with things without complaining. You try to get along with everybody, and overall that works fine. However, you think Sig spends too much time griping and not enough time working, and for some reason, MacWeir, or McDonald in this case, dislikes you. So, but the other thing, when we were talking right at the beginning, and you were saying, like, well, you need the signature item to relieve stress. And I was saying, oh, I've got none. And then I kind of realized, oh,
And you said, oh, I've got a watch or something.
that is my gear.
Ah.
I was like, oh, crap. Did I just give it away?
No, it wasn't then. It was the face hugger.
Okay,
didn't
it
like
was
you.
the face. Well, the face hugger,
It
that's
was
when
the
we
face
saw
hugger.
your eyes just kind of went. It was like the little light bulb went on on the video as we're watching it, right?
That was
Yes, it was
beautiful.
great.
That was
Aaron
beautiful.
texted me right away. Did you see Emily? Yeah, I saw it.
That was fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
also
knowing
got it
things.
at the same time.
Yes, Chris and I messaged each other. At the same time, we messaged Android.
So, Adam, I feel that I broke you in this game.
Adam, are you alive? You seem so stressed. To be fair, my heart rate is rather elevated.
What-
However,
You're okay, I thought, all through part 1 and most of part 2. But most of part 3, I felt like I just stressed the fuck out of you and broke you.
I had to make some pretty hard decisions.
Well, the good news is it's just as bad in the next 3.
excellent. I'm not being facetious. The stressful stuff is my favorite kind of roleplay.
That is really weird to me.
I haven't had.
What?
Yeah, I haven't had a. I mean, I think my most valiant, unbecoming death was Cloud City.
Yep.
But the dice had spoken. But I've never had to have a decision so hard as to. I was kind of lucky in a way that I did pick up the Molotov cocktail and make it.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
don't know
thought
what would have happened otherwise.
that I don't know what would have happened, because with only a few rounds left of my shotgun, there was no. As soon as you said there was 2 up the top, I was like, "Oh, we're fucked.
Yeah.
That's it. It came over." Yeah.
So, I do want to stress that Chariots of the God is not set up the same way.
Yep.
You can survive.
You can
You
survive.
can survive. It is really hard. I'd say that everyone would survive, but you can, and that's the same with Destroyer of Worlds and the.
But
campaign.
even though everyone was supposed to die here, it was still hard
Yeah.
to leave. Well, first of all, Jonas. But
Yeah.
there was like no way she just disappeared, and there's no way you're getting me underneath the water to go and look
Yeah.
for someone. I'm not that brave. And then
The other
Chris
thing, though, is-
disappearing.
Yeah.
For fuck's
Yes.
sake, Chris.
Chris, that was quite the decision you made there.
That was
I
great.
didn't make that. I got a message.
Oh, did you get a message?
okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I thought Chris deserves a story point for that, because it was like, he came up with that.
Oh, see? Hey,
Oh,
Chris,
okay.
you shouldn't have said anything. You would have got a story point,
Yeah, I know.
which no one spent.
I didn't get one, so
Adam did.
I got one.
you
Adam
could have
was
spent
the one.
that.
They give
To
you.
not die.
Well, Jonas had one, but then he died.
They give you
But-
an auto success.
Hang on. Oh, so but that story point goes with my character, right?
No,
That stays with me.
it stays with you. They try to. So everyone
Oh.
can have one. So when you
Yeah?
do Chariots of the Gods, you can have. For anyone who had 2, you can have 2. Anyone else has 1. It's not
So just Adam has 2,
right
right?
because it would have been
I'll let-
Jonas would have as well, but he's yeah. They do it that way, and I think it's really good because they realize that you could die.
Yeah. So they don't. It's not just like this thing you earned dies with your character.
Right? There's no experience. There's absolutely no experience because how can it be?
I didn't even think to use it on the alien, actually, when because my intention was to hopefully kill that one and then run down the hallway,
Yeah.
dragging the other one away. But yeah,
If you hadn't
No.
have had so much stress, I think that's what fucked you in. But you had a lot of success out of your stress
That's
too.
true.
So the question is, how often do you want to do Alien based on the stress level it seemed to...
Whenever. I'd do
I
it
think
every
we-
day.
dress donkey.
It's good to get your heart rate up. It's good for you.
I think it's a
Or
good palate
something.
cleanser, though. Like
It is.
it's a break from the typical, right? So
I think it's good. I
I mean,
enjoyed it
I would say
immensely.
do it like up on that basis, though, right?
Now, to be fair, perhaps the way I ended up playing stuff where I was more in shock, I ended up getting pulled and pushed around, so I didn't really have to make that many decisions. If I'd had to, maybe I'd feel differently.
Because we do have I was going to mix it up and do the Destroyer of Worlds next to play a Space Marine one. But then in one of the interviews we watched with Gaska, one of the interviewers said that one of their players connected something between Chariots of the Gods and Destroyer of Worlds.
Yeah.
Which meant...
So it might be better to do it the other way around?
Yes. And he said that's there for the player, not for the character. So, yes, I'll have to do Chariots of the Gods first, I think.
Okay.
Not that it's bad.
I'm down to play it whenever.
It's quite a complex adventure. It's bigger than this one. So it would take, I think, a few more sessions. Space Truckers.
I think I would like to make my own.
Okay.
I am happy with either, because I did like the pre-gen thing where it's like, this is, I don't know, it was interesting having a backstory that I didn't make.
Yeah, it is interesting, except that I didn't really have one.
I'm sorry.
You can still get that. There is some agendas still that will be handed out regardless on if you make or don't make.
Okay, then I'm fine with whatever. I just liked the whole agenda thing. I thought it was cool.
Every game has agendas still, because they might affect things in a certain way. But if you want to make characters, the big thing's just going to be making sure we cover enough of the key components.
Roles or
Gills.
Yes. Yeah. Essentially, like I think these are the Destroyer of World cards. They come with little cards. I love it. Playing at the table, could take it like a playing card with your picture on one side and all your key skills and that on the other.
Yeah.
Like there's Horton, the mechanic, Bean, the pilot, Pin is the mercenary, Bolani is an officer. There's a scientist and company agent, medic. Yeah, so we just have to... They're sort of like... As long as we have enough of the ship that would function, I don't mind. You can just, as long as you go like, yeah, okay, I want to be the pilot, you don't have to take the pre-gen. We just have to make sure that, if we end up with just a whole bunch of mechanics, well, how's the ship functioning?
The ship is run entirely by mechanics.
Right, so we just have to make sure we cover enough of the different skill sets that are needed. But otherwise, I got no problem if you want to make your own character. But yeah, genders will still come into play, but otherwise, you can make them up if you want.
Excellent.
Or it also then won't hurt if you just say, give me a pre-gen, I'll take one of the others. So yeah, the big thing will be...
I think I would make a character.
So yeah, basically officer, medics, scientist, company agent. They're pretty much known. They're like... I don't think we had one on Nostromo. Although they sort of talked to Ripley a bit, like, we're going to get the full shares, and if we do this, and so I guess she was, he wasn't answering as the company, but a little bit for the company. So the company agent is sort of that. Definitely Burke. Burke was a company agent.
Okay.
Mechanic, pilot, mercenary. So I guess that's like security. Yeah. So we can do that. We can. The official Alien RPG is released by Free League. Kritfayle's Alien miniseries stars Ken as John, Emily as Hannah, Louis as Jonas, Shadow as Sig, Raven Insane as Hirsch, Ghost as Mother. Some of the sounds come from Sirenscape.com. You can find us on Kritfayle.com. This has been a Kritfayle production.
We're definitely infested with them. Dear God. See, Holroyd, we need to send out a distress beacon. We need to send out a distress call. We need to... See, Holroyd, we've got to send out a distress call.
Excellent, except you called him Holy Rod.
Ever are you going to get the name right? Say it with me. Holroyd.
Holroyd. See?
Holroyd.
You got to remember, he's like decided to monopolize on one thing, and that's stress dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you choose to get my name right? Sorry.
Gotta break
I
the
couldn't
tension
resist
somehow.
because it's like that's the first time he got it right in the whole
It's
bloody
true.
game.
It's true.
It's like, you choose now.
10 bays.
But only one success. Can we get Theodora down a maintenance thing?
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for it. Unless you want the option of possibly dropping her a thing.
I mean, I don't, but I bet Chris does.
Chris does.
We know.